According to a new report by House Democrats, Donald Trump has cheated Americans out of a celebration of our country's 250th birthday. He completely turned what was supposed to be a unifying celebration, years in the making, into a grift. This new investigation by House Democrats reveals that a nonpartisan commission began planning and raising money for this bipartisan celebration a decade ago. But, quote, under President Donald Trump, this anniversary has been hijacked and perverted into a hotbed of corruption and self-enrichment. Joining me now is a member of the Natural Resources Committee that conducted that investigation and published an eye-popping report, Congresswoman Adelita Grijalva, who's a Democrat from Arizona. Congresswoman, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
So give our viewers a sort of quick synopsis of this report. I read it, and essentially that there is this bipartisan America 250. Donald Trump started this Freedom 250, and along the way ended up currying a bunch of favors and demanding donations and all sorts of things that are quite interesting.
Yeah, essentially, the key finding is Trump put himself at the center of our nation's birthday instead of what it looked like even 50 years ago at the bicentennial in 1975, where it was a celebration of the United States, of our history, and where we need to go together as a country. And so the White House built Freedom 250 on deceit. A lot of the musical performers, among others, were misled about the programming and the connections to Trump's political machine. And that's why we saw so many performers saying, that's not what I was told when I agreed to sign up. And so then you had to, do your sleuthing to find out if this was Freedom 250 or America 250. And then, Freedom 250 Trump sold access, courted by foreign money in America's name. And it's just been a complete hijacking of our celebration as a country for 250 years.
And the report goes into depth about all the different things that have occurred. And the first part of it just saddened me because this really could have been one of the most incredible moments in American history. We could have had a bipartisan event with our best authors, our best musicians, our best athletes. Everyone could have come together, but instead it just went completely wayside. But I want to ask you about Event Strategies. That's a firm that you guys allege has gotten $100 million through this. They were involved in January 6th. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, well, it's that connection is scary enough as it is. So much of what Trump has done in his administration is do no bid contract approvals, and so they don't go through any process, right? We've seen that with the reflection poll. We've seen it all over with different, his pool guy can do it or something. He just sort of does these side deals with people who are supporters of his and not opening it up to any kind of process. And so even if you look at what's happening right now on the mall, parts of those pieces that have been assembled are falling apart. I saw a little video of some young people dancing and a piece of the stage came down. I mean, there's no one to hold accountable at this point because all of these were bids that were done behind the scenes, and who's paying the cost is the American people.
Yeah, and there was a lot of allegations in there that people who had business in front of the president, if they made a donation here, it would get moved to the front of the line, et cetera. Classic corruption. Another element that you guys uncovered, which I think is far more serious, and something that we've seen a lot of, is that this iteration of America 250, this Freedom 250 that Donald Trump and his cronies have engaged in, there is a real strong element of Christian nationalism that is meant to define what it means to be an American. Can you speak to that and what you guys uncovered?
Well, and that's incredibly problematic because our nation is built on really the contributions of immigrants, of people from all different countries, all different nationalities, and all different religions. We do not have an official religion in this country, nor do I believe should we. We are supposed to be this melting pot where everyone comes together and is stronger as a result of it. But under this administration, it is more about how Christian you are. If you're Catholic, you're not Christian enough. If you're Muslim, you're not part of it's like this sort of club of elitists, and they keep pushing people away and out of what is supposed to be a really solid celebration. Even some of the speakers that were speaking all spoke of religion, and not as much about what the contributions have been in our country. We could have had a true celebration of art, music, poetry, just a big encompassing celebration of what it is to be an American and everyone that has contributed. But what it has been is an incredibly stifling hot environment where nobody is coming to because there's really nothing to see there.
Yeah, some of the earliest Americans were those who were fleeing religious persecution, and that's been a long-standing tenet of our country's success. It's also the freedom of religion is guaranteed in the First Amendment. I could go on and on about how one religion shouldn't hijack an entire celebration of America. Real quickly, trend lines are looking good for the Dems to take back the House. Do you think this would be something that would be investigated if Democrats get the gavel back?
Oh, I believe it will be. Yeah, this is a 55-page just first run. I mean, even when we were having our oversight hearing, it was unilaterally closed down when we started asking real specific questions about really calling people to task and bringing court orders to have people have to subpoena people and have to have them come and speak in front of our hearings. All of a sudden, everything was shut down. You know, I was 4 years old the last time we had an opportunity in our country in 1976 in the bicentennial. And there was I can just look back and see all of the contributions and things that came up from that. I mean, Schoolhouse Rock is something that is part of every child's, especially in my generation, and explaining like, how does this country work? Those are some of the things that came out of those celebrations. And the sad part is when I think about, you know, what my kids are going to remember about this celebration at 250, it was another Trump, you know, kind of campaign stop. And that's just really sad and pathetic.
Yeah, we could have had Beyonce and Bruce Springsteen, but I guess we got Vanilla Ice. So here we are. Congresswoman Adelita Grijalva, thank you so much for being on this show and for that important report. We appreciate it.